So Saint-Gobain Glass is part of the huge Saint-Gobain group that all of you may probably know, and which is present in more than 70 countries. Saint-Gobain Glass specializes in manufacturing and distributing innovative glass products for various sectors such as construction, automotive, and industry. For this project, 2Gi Technologie worked with Plantformance in order to create and deploy ignition applications in several countries. This project used a hybrid architecture consisting of local real-time data as well as shared data in the cloud. Ultimately, the goal was to accelerate Saint-Gobain Glass digitalization and consolidate its data at a global level. As you can see maybe from the dates on the screen, there was also a time challenge as we had only 6 months to set up the first scalable application and deploy it on the very first site. Saint-Gobain faced many problems, and I hand it over to Dominique to detail them.
Thank you, Cédric. So actually, due to the global nature of Saint-Gobain Glass operations, they faced a number of problems. The first, because of a variety of technological capabilities and no standardized data processes, there was an inconsistent digitalization across their plants. There were also fragmented data, and data silos were inhibiting efficiency when it came to global data analysis and decision-making. Also, their decision-making process were slow due to their reliance on manual data, lack of access to real-time data, and the mix of global and local data. Finally, since the data management and the reporting structure were decentralized, Saint-Gobain Glass wasn't able to get the big picture of their global operations. And I think Cédric will continue showing you this great project that happened.
Yes, thank you. As you can see at the bottom of the picture on your right hand side, the data sources are either local from PLCs and DCS, or at the top of the picture, you can see the global data coming from the cloud, such as the one in MicroStrategy, where sits some complex rules and calculations, or also in Orange, you can see data stored and managed in Microsoft Planner, where all tasks are managed across the organization. So really the key element to be able to deploy to multiple sites and multiple countries is a global data referential. This is called a GlassRef, Glass for Saint-Gobain Glass, Glass referential. You can see it as a UNS, a Unified Namespace, focused on the description of the whole organization. Inside it, you store all the plant contexts, such as the internal organization of the plant, the lines, the equipment, etc. And when an application starts up inside a factory, it first begins by accessing to the global data referential, and then it loads its own context in which the application will execute. So the application customizes itself thanks to the configuration stored in the global data referential. So really a key element there. Another layer very key is the middleware layer in this architecture. This is a layer you have to go through to get data or send data from and to the global tools. This layer is provided by Plantformance and is key as it guarantees, in particular, performance and cybersecurity. For the software architecture, you also have to follow some rules, and all the development teams have to follow them in order to feed the deployment process. So project inheritance first. This is a concept that you find in Ignition. It ensures that common functions are reused by all applications. Another one is the versioning strategy that you have to set up for all components. And it's key because you have to manage different versions in different sites. For instance, you can have one plant with a new version ahead of the others to test it before this version is rolled out. So you can have different versions in different sites. So the versioning strategy includes also the master project and the shared scripts. Finally, in terms of software architecture, you have also to do with various practices applied by all the teams. For instance, to manage shared translation dictionaries across different applications. And last but not least, we have used the enterprise administration module. Again, this is a module provided inside Ignition, and that enables deploying the same project everywhere in the group or in a particular group of plants. As you can see on the screen, all the plants have the same architecture, so you deploy a site at global level. I'm sorry, I have a small problem on my computer. I cannot change the slide. I don't know if Travis or someone else can change it for me, please. Can I switch to the next slide? Thank you very much. One goal of Saint-Gobain was to automatically generate dashboards. Why? It was because they can use them for what we call in the industry the visual management practices, or sometimes we call that part of the lean management practices. So you will see that on those on the slide. As the dashboards automatically connect to local and cloud data, the users now have everything on one single screen, and this allows team collaboration and supports to foster a culture of continuous improvement. So the connection with Microsoft Planner, it enables fast decision making and task creation and management again on the same single screen. And lastly, the goal, as you know, was to be able to create other applications easy to be deployed. And that's what we have done with the next application, energy management system to manage electricity meters. And in this application, you have another feature, which is to stream data to a central data lake for global KPIs and comparisons. So I had promised photos. So on this photo, you can see that they have been taken in the real life context of a factory. As you can see, users now can meet every day and apply the best practices of visual management because their KPIs are always available, not depending on any manual data collection. On this screen, you can have a view of the laminated line. So this screen is divided into dashboards on the left-hand side. These dashboards have been custom built using widgets, and they are defined at different levels. You can define them at the user level, so individually, or at a team level, or even at a plant level. So they can be reused depending if they are shared at the user, team, or plant level. And when an action is decided by the team during the meeting, it is immediately added on the right-hand side panel, which is the one connected to Microsoft Planner. And then the team can follow all the tasks interfaced directly with Microsoft Planner in the cloud. On this slide, what you can see is simply, if I can say simply, the screenshot of the pop-up, enabling you to see the evolution over time. What is really interesting there is that this pop-up is automatically populated, whether the indicators in the widgets are local in real time, calculated by third-party tools in the cloud, or simply entered manually by the plant teams. So one single pop-up to all widgets and automatically populated. So Dominique, give you the hand to summarize the results.
Yes, sorry. Thank you, Cédric, for the great job at 2GI. Saint-Gobain Glass can now deploy a project in multiple factories anywhere in the world in just 1 hour. That's the key point. Cybersecurity and IT operations are now globally managed under Plantformance, which has boosted security. And also, since the data is now collected and organized in the same way, they are able to do local and global data analysis. This new system also helps speed up decision making, which is an important result. As you shown, it is used for real-time management meetings. And they have also a consolidated HMI that uses different sources and services. Now, what I'm very proud for both Plantformance and 2GI with this Super Ignition product is that we were able to complete this project in a record time, deploying the Ignition application to over 10 plants in France and abroad in less than 1 year.
And in terms of scope, the project included over 10,000 tags per factory and more than 10 clients per factory. It has dynamic dashboards, as you can have seen, that are each user generated, and between 500 to 1,000 alarms per factory. And because it is done with perspective, you can access that to different devices, PCs or tablets that are used in the factory. The architecture was an enterprise architecture with, of course, the enterprise administration module. And was key there also was the Plantformance factory brains, which are the servers that host Ignition on-prem inside the factories and make that easy to deploy, and the connections to the cloud services through Apache NiFi middleware. In terms of databases, we both used MySQL and Progress and SQL.